In this video, I want to look at top and tail editing in Avid Media Composer. Now, I'll be using Avid Media Composer version 8.4.2, but this is applicable to other versions of Media Composer as well. So top and tail editing. Before we jump right in, let me show you what we're going to be overlaying our video on. We have a music track here, so I'll just hit play. All right, and down here it gets into it a bit. All right, and then further down we have like some dubstep bass wobble. All right, now I hit the home key to go back to the very beginning. Now, if I was going to edit this, as you know, if you've been a Media Composer user for a while, there are a bunch of different ways to do the same exact thing, a bunch of different methods. Let's just play this here. Right here, we want to add another video clip, so go to my bin, and I could say, oh, maybe about here I want it to end, so I'll hit the I key. And about here where she puts her glasses on, I want the out right there, so I'll hit the O, and then we'll just overwrite that in. All right, and then again, hold down Control or Command on a Mac to snap our playhead to our edit point, and then again, keep going through all of our clips and adding things in. That's one way we can edit, and that's a way you probably already edit a lot, but top and tail editing is a bit different. First, let me select this clip, then I'll hit my right arrow here to select right, just hit delete. That way all of our video clips are deleted. Now, before we can start top and tail editing, we need to set it up so we actually have the buttons to push, or we can map it to our keyboard, which you should do. So first we'll come up here to Tools and our command palette, open that up, and then we'll go ahead and come over here to Settings and Keyboard, double click that. So as you can see, I have the top and tail mapped to my E and R keys because by default, the in and out is mapped to E and R and also mapped to I and O. And I and O makes much more sense for in and out, in my opinion. So simply open up your command palette, come over here to the Edit tab, grab your button, and just drop it onto any key you want. It doesn't have to be E and R. It can be absolutely any key you want. So again, let me just switch one around here so you can see how that works. Make sure button to button reassignment is on. Okay, just grab it, drop it, and you're good to go. So we have top mapped to E, we have tail mapped to R. That's very important to have set up. Also, you can drop these buttons on your timeline button tabs here. So you can see I have them right here as well. Okay, so we can close down our keyboard and our command palette, and now we can actually start top and tail editing. Now, top and tail can be useful for editing music videos, creating montages, whenever you have a bunch of clips and you kind of just want to edit on the fly, you can do it like that. It's also useful for more regular, I guess you'd say, workflows. Even I do a lot of tutorial videos, so I'll use it every once in a while there. It's just very useful, even editing TV shows or film, anything at all, really. It's just another way of editing that is good to know to help you get your work done faster. So again, as in Media Composer, we always have tons of ways to do things. So let's start loading up our clips here. I could, of course, select our clip into our source monitor, pop it in. And since we're doing top and tail editing, I'm not going to worry about marking it, edit, and then deleting things like that. We're going to just lay in what we want. Now, of course, we could do that one by one. Grab another clip, say that looks good, pop that in. Let me zoom out a bit here, but we're not going to do it like that. Okay, we could also grab a bunch at once, just draw a marquee over a bunch of clips. I'll just grab it and drop it right on our timeline. And you can see that they are put in there sequentially from top. So candles and stained glass is at the very beginning, while the abstract is at the very end. That's when we could do it. Control Z or Command Z on Mac to get out of that. But dragging in all of our clips from this sort of details view, as you can see, we have 3 different views here in Media Composer. So dragging in our clips from this view, we can't really tell exactly what we're dragging in. We could come over to more of our film strip view here, and then we could tell more what we're actually dragging in. And also, you can select a clip and hit your spacebar. You can actually play right from your bin. Select this clip. You see it's playing right in our bin. So we could choose the clip that we want there, then maybe control click another one and control click another one, then just drag all those in. That's another way we could do it, but again, we're not going to do that either. Instead, we're going to select our middle view here where we can see our clips. All right, and there's nothing wrong with, pulling in your clips one at a time if that's how you want to do it, or using any of these other views. You work however you want, but I just want to show you another way we can do this. So if I hold down Control and hit K, it's going to make my clips smaller. Command K on the Mac. If I hold down Control and L, that will make my clips bigger so I can see them easier. That will be Command L on Mac. I can hit the space bar, select the clip, hit a space bar. I can preview my clip right here in my bin so I can find out exactly what I want. So I sort of sift through my clips that way. Now what I'm going to do is come over to bins. Let's go ahead and do a new bin here. Let me go ahead and name this. I'll call it used clips, because this will be the bin we're going to put our clips in that we're actually going to use, because we have a lot of content in here. So first off, I'm going to hold down Control and hit K. And by the way, the Control K and Control L, it also works on your tracks if you want your tracks bigger or smaller. So I'll select my audio 1 and audio 2, hold down Control, hit K, makes my audio track smaller, hold down L, makes them larger, and maybe I just want the video track really small. We could do that as well. Just make sure I select it there, Control and K, make that smaller, Control L, make that bigger. All right. That Control K and Control L will come in very handy in Media Composer. But let's get back to our bins. Let's get back to setting up exactly the content we're going to use, and let's structure this out. So let me come back to my track here, and let's just think about it. Okay. All right, so I'm sort of storyboarding in my own head, and we're going to storyboard with our bin here. Let's go with this shot first. I'm going to set this up. And I can switch views in this bin if I want. I'm going to hold down Control and K, make that a little bit smaller. Let's just think about what we want. Throw this over here, throw this over here. And we'll just keep going through our clips and finding exactly what we want. Just storyboarding these out. So I'll continue to do this, and we'll be back when I'm done. All right, so I think I have everything structured, close to how I want it. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I think we'll use these clips here. So I'm just going to drag a marquee over all of them. Just grab my first clip here and pop it right in my timeline. And that should populate for me exactly how I have them structured here in my bin. So that's pretty cool. We go ahead and tab it into our other bin. Pow. All right. So let's go ahead and hit play here and see what we have. So obviously, as you can tell, these clips go way longer than the music actually goes, but that's fine because we're doing top and tail editing. So let's go ahead and start with top and tail editing. Let's listen to this again. All right, so right here, I want to switch to another clip. So it's about there. Now I'm sure you're used to adding an edit. Now I have that mapped to my B key. You probably have it mapped to a different key, but here's your add edit button. You can map that to any key on your keyboard that you want. So you're probably used to adding an edit and then maybe grabbing it and hitting delete. But with top and tail editing, Control Z, Control Z, with top and tail editing, we can actually remove any content from the top, which is on this side of our playhead. So anything to the left would be the top, anything to the right of this clip would be the tail. So top and tail editing. So I want to switch clips about here. So now I can hit my button here, which is tail, or again, I have it mapped to my R key, but for this first time, I'll just hit the tail button, pow, and you can see that it trimmed out everything from the end of a clip of our woman here, who's putting on her glasses, trimmed all that out and went right to our next clip. Everything shuffled forward or down to the beginning of the timeline. Okay, so now if we look at this, so that's a perfect edit there. And actually don't want to see him. And I'll use my arrow key to step back one frame at a time because that's how I have it mapped on my keyboard. If you don't have it mapped like that, here's my keyboard. You can see here's my arrow keys. I have the step backward one frame. Again, you can always open up your command palette if you don't have it set up like that and just map it to your arrow keys. It should be like that by default. So I just, again, use my arrow keys. I don't want to see his nose there. And again, I'll hit my tail cut, or I'll just hit the R key this time. R. That got rid of that clip. Okay, I want to do another clip here. Now these are sort of just random clips I pulled in and tried to make up a story on the spot. Of course, it'll be different for you when you have content that you've actually shot and recorded with a plan in mind. But anyway, I want to switch to another clip here, right there on that tone. So I'm zoomed all the way here so I can kind of see where that beat happens. But I can also hit the caps lock key, and now when we scrub, we'll hear audio. So now I can really make sure right there is where it hits. So I want to do one frame ahead, and again I'll hit the R, and right there it cut out everything. Hit caps lock to turn that off, scrubbing audio off. So everything on the tail got cut out. As you can see, if I hit Control Z to undo that, we still have everything from the front. All right, hit R again, but everything on the tail is gone, and everything again shuffled down. So now if we watch this, okay, now you know what, because this is actually the same woman here, I want to switch these clips, so I'll just make sure I have my white arrow. Some people call it the yellow arrow. I'm just going to drag this up and hold down Control so I lock to the front of my edit there. Let's try that. Because this clip was a different length than this clip, we're going to have to trim things up. I'll use my rolling edit and I'll just roll it down to there. All right. I like her uppercut there. So this time let's use top edit. We haven't done any top edit yet, but it works exactly the same as the tail edit. I want her to, right when she comes in, I want her to be throwing that uppercut about here. I can use my arrow keys. You can also use JKL to scrub around. I usually just use my mouse, but JKL is perfectly useful. I want her throwing that uppercut right about there. So this time I'll hit the E key, or I can use the button here for the top edit. So I hit E. Now everything on the left side of our playhead of this clip is going to be cut, and we'll be left with everything here on our B side or on our tail. So E cuts all that out. So now when we switch to this clip, boom. Right there, we need to have another switch. So turn on caps lock and I'll scrub a little bit. Right about there. And we'll hit R. All right, and again, there's a clip I don't want. You know, when you're doing top and tail editing and you're just dragging in a bunch of clips like this, again, like I said, these are random clips. It'll probably be a little bit different for you if you have your storyboard already done in your head. I sort of made it up on the, right on the spot, but this is better. Let me grab this clip here. I'll drag it up here, hold down Control or Command, lock that to our edit point. Let's zoom in here. I actually want to let that out a little bit, so I'll roll this back one frame. Okay, so that actually, see the rest of this. Let me zoom out a little bit on this clip. She gives us a roll there. Okay. Right about here, I'm going to add an edit this time, which would be this button here, the add edit, sort of like the razor blade tool in other video editing programs. Again, I have that mapped to my B key, but you probably have it mapped to a different key. Just make sure you map it somewhere on your keyboard, because adding an edit or adding a cut, that's one of the most basic things you'll need to know how to do. So just add a cut there. Now I want to see her. So on this sort of delayed arpeggio almost sound, before that hits, I want to see her kind of roll. And it's going to be a stutter. I'm going to start her about here. So again, I could trim this using my yellow roller, just roll that up. But let's use top and tail editing. Because we added that edit now, I can go ahead and cut out everything on the A side or the top side with that E. So now when we switch to our clip, boom, she's mid-roll. Right there when our next note hits our higher note, we're going to step back a couple frames. I'm going to add an edit there. So that's my B key in my case, which is add edit. And I want to see her come up, boom, right when that note hits, about there. And then I'll hit the E key to trim out the top again. So that edit there actually is not very good. I'm going to roll this back a bit. I want to see her face. Okay, cut here. Let me just use the E key there. Try that. Almost. Let me use the E key one more time here to trim out the top part on this smaller clip. All right, so with some effects over top of that, I think it would actually work pretty well. All right, so I think you get the idea. Let me move on further down the timeline here. And we'll show a little bit more of top and tail editing. It's a pretty simple concept to grasp, but we'll show it a little more here. So maybe I want to have different frames for each of those wobbles. So I guess that's fine right here. I'm going to actually add an edit there. I'm just going to trim this back just so we know where we're starting here. And hit the caps lock key. And we'll hit the R. We'll go to another clip. Okay. So you can see how this is going to go now. So we're sort of editing to a beat. Turn the caps lock off because I can see where our beat markers are. Hit R again to edit our tail. Right here's another wobble. So I'll hit R again. There's another wobble right there. Hit R again. So that's pretty cool. Then we start another wobble here. Again, hit R, trim out the tail. And right here, hit R. And now I'm out of clips. So let's add that clip in here. Let's just grab some more clips. Whatever we happen to have here, we'll just pop that in. You know, you can use any sort of method you'd like to drag your clips in. Start this one about there. Why not? Throw that in there too. So here and about here. So again, R. Now this edit is off just a bit. Zoom in. I'm going to pull this in one frame. Okay. Right here. Again, R. And right here, R. Right here. And I need a different clip. All right. Okay, so I think you get the idea of top and tail editing. It's very useful. The main thing to remember is make sure you have that mapped to your keyboard. Again, go to Tools and Command Palette. Come here to the Edit section. Right here is top and tail. You can pull that down onto your timeline window, replace those buttons there, and you should definitely map it to your keyboard. E and R is a good place, and start using top and tail editing. It's very useful for tons of different editing styles, and of course, you know, marking ins and outs. That's useful for a lot of editing styles as well. But you could also use top and tail. It's just whatever you really prefer to use, you know? So if I just edited this clip in here, pull this down, and say I just wanted her right where she's sweeping her hair back there, just park my playhead about there and hit E, and now all that beginning is cut out. And just remember those few tips about adding the keys to your keyboard from your command palette, and when you hit that top button, it removes everything on your clip on the left. If you hit the tail, it removes everything on your clip on the right, and then everything else will shuffle forward so there are no gaps in between your clips. All right, that's top and tail editing in Avid Media Composer. Go check it out.